great people.
The Fargo Police Advisory and Oversight Board had their first meeting, and Police Chief Cebulski is here to tell us about their progress. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're just so engaged in conversation today. I think since the
yeah.
moment you walked in today, we've just been chit-chatting.
It was the donuts.
It was the donut. He told me he'd bring donuts, and he did, man of his word. So for our friends at home, can you remind us what the Police Oversight and Advisory Board does?
Sure. The Police Advisory and Oversight Board, it really serves as kind of our conduit to increase transparency with the community. Address and bring forward community perspectives or concerns about anything involving the police department. It's really a collaborative effort to, again, build the transparency, the trust, to make our operations more transparent. Really just starting out, all of the members have received 40 hours of training. They've all attended and been on ride-alongs with our officers, and there's been a lot of very positive feedback. I think the things that they're seeing are what the average person doesn't see, that our officers deal with every day. And I think they've been very impressed with the work of our officers, as am I.
Well, that's a very big point that you make, because for most of us, we don't see the majority of what you do. Now we've got this group of people who have been able to do the ride-alongs and kind of see behind the scenes. So they had their first meeting last night. What came out of that meeting, and did any of them share perspectives of, you know, I did not know this was a thing until I did my ride-along, and now?
Sure. I think across the board they all had kind of that similar perspective. They describe it kind of as an eye-opening experience because, you know, for the average person, and it makes sense, you go home after the end of your day and you enjoy your evening and you think nothing about it. Seems like everything's fine unless a large incident happens, but you know, our officers every day, every shift, are dealing with some significant issues, and a lot of the comments from the board members centered around how often and how many calls we have related to that are tied to a mental health issue, and how well our officers de-escalate, take the time, are very patient with a lot of these folks who are involved in a variety of, could be anything from a criminal thing to they're walking in the middle of the road, and we're trying to keep them safe. So I think that was very eye-opening for them.
I mean, we see statistics, you know, you put out a report every year and say we see this many overdoses, we've seen this many deaths or whatever, but it's very different when you're with a police officer and you're going to these calls and seeing these things that maybe we just have kind of an out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality on.
It's kind of like, and it's not bad. I mean, ignorance is bliss, and we want the community to feel safe, and they are safe, but I think just the recognition, and we do get a lot of very good positive feedback from our community, but really the recognition that there is a lot of things happening in a city the size of Fargo, and we still have a very small town flavor and mentality and hospitality, but there are larger city problems occurring that we have to deal with, and you know, just having another group of folks like this board to understand that and to work with our community to increase that transparency and help spread that message. And then if there are issues that we need to address and how we're doing things, we're happy to do that, and that helps us as well. Well,
to some level, because this group of people is in a way representing the community at large, coming in and helping shape policy, you know, there's a lot of us here at home that are like, that's great, I support them, I want them to be able to go in there and have that perspective and bring that in and help make different ideas come to life. What did the group set last night kind of as priorities or a mission? What do they want to do?
Well, they're working on a mission statement that will kind of weave in with the department's vision, mission, and values, which is perfect. And they've mentioned, you know, concerns about mental health in general, and so we had some discussions about that. We do have a collaboration that we've been working on along those lines. We also talked about overdoses and our upcoming academy and the number of new students and new officers that we'll likely have. So I think as they progress, you know, the big thing was picking that chair and vice chair, and so we're very happy that we've got people on the board that kind of stepped forward and took on those roles, and we'll just kind of take it as it goes. They receive some training on open meetings, open records, that kind of stuff.
Very interesting. So to some extent, not fully, but to some extent they have access to a lot of the same things you have access to, really, so that they can kind of see what you're seeing and then, you know, bring their own perspective to that.
Right. Yeah, I think the ride-alongs provide that perspective, and the training, absolutely. You know, any records that they see would be records that would also be open to the public, so that is the same. But they do have that connectivity and insight and ability to, you know, better understand, and as questions or concerns are brought forward from the community, they can come to the board. We can provide context or presentation, or maybe we decide that we're going to change something in department policy to better address a concern. So it really just provides that conduit.
So you have some just fantastic officers on your force.
Yeah.
We can't sing their praises enough. How are they feeling about this, working with this board and helping come up with ideas collaboratively?
Sure. Well, I think initially there's a little reticence because this is doesn't exist anywhere else in North Dakota. It does exist in other states, but it is really part of a 21st century forward-thinking police department, and it's going to help our community relations exponentially. And I think as the ride-alongs progressed and the officers got to meet these board members, and we'll see how the meetings go, that the comfort level is increasing, and I think they see it now more as a positive because they have an opportunity to tell the story that doesn't always get told. Here's my shift. Here's me going to a call in emergent fashion, and all these cars won't get out of my way. And the board member's like, "Is this normal?" And well, kind of. Yeah, people don't pay attention, right? And you're supposed to pull over and get out of the way when we're moving code 3. So just simple things like that. I think it helps to build that relationship there and comfort level as well.
Oh, that's just awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on to discuss this. We always love to have you here whenever you come by the station, especially when you bring donuts with you. Definitely appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. And again, I say this every single time, but we appreciate you guys so much. And please take your well wishes back to the force, because everybody on the Fargo Police Department and all the support staff as well, just fantastic people.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I'm very proud of all of them. Appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Now stay with us. We're switching gears a little bit. He did bring some sugar, kind of puts us on the topic of Easter candy. We're going to talk about the top ones next. Very excited to hear your perspective.